Well, I'm going to cover a little bit about your roofs, especially since it's wintertime. There's a lot of different kinds of composites for the roof. You have a rubber roof, you have a fiberglass roof, basically is your two basic kinds. This one I'm standing on right here is a fiberglass roof. A lot of units have a rubber roof, doesn't matter if they're motorhome or they're trailers. There's not a lot of care that you have to do for a rubber roof. There's not a lot of things you have to do for the winter. I've got a lot of people who will buy a full camper cover. Some people out here buy full camper covers. A couple things you got to be careful about covering your whole camper. Number one, when the wind blows, it rubs, and it can put rub marks on your camper if it's not tied down good. Number two, as it blows in the wind, sometimes they turn into shreds. We had several camper covers last year end up with shreds by the time the spring was here. So kind of watch that. If you do cover your camper, make sure you use a camper cover, not a plastic tarp. Plastic tarp will do two things for you. Number one, it will scratch your sides of your camper. It will make rub marks, I guarantee that. Number two, if it's really tight around the camper, it'll make mold because a plastic tarp will not breathe. So you want to back off from using those. Generally, when I tell people, if you want to cover things, if you want to cover your camper, fine, buy a good camper cover. But generally, covering the air conditioner either is adequate. And my air conditioner up here, you can buy an air conditioner cover, get up and cover that. They make them for whatever brand of air conditioner you've got. And that keeps the snow and the moisture in the winter out of your air conditioner. It might add some years to the life of that air conditioner. Also, you want to kind of watch your slide. I tell people who are parked permanently, if you can, for the winter, pull your slide outs in. Snow piles on top of the slides. Two things happen. Number one, you have weight. You don't need all that weight sitting on that slide, and after a while it makes them leak, and then you have all that pressure on your seals. So they can leak and you've got weight on your slide. So it's best to pull those slide outs in for the winter time. If there's snow on top of your slide when you're pulling it in, it would be best to swipe that snow off. No use bringing it inside even under your seals. But as far as your roof concerned, you don't want to be painting, you don't need to be doing all kinds of stuff. If you check around your roof vents, make sure your seals look good. If you do have some cracks and have some places, don't use silicone caulk. It only sticks for a couple of weeks. You'll want to use a good roof sealant like Flow Seal or a Dicor because that adheres to the roof really well. That way to keep your leaks going. It is good to inspect your roof before the winter, especially if your motorhome is going to be outside, because it does take the weather and it will take some abuse from the weather, but it is made to withhold that abuse. So as far as keeping your roof clean, I have some people who get up and wash their roofs, which is fine before it's going to get dirty again, but which is fine. If a man asked me yesterday what's better to keep it outside, well, I said, well, you've got a place in the shed, keep it inside. But I would rather keep it out. If I keep it outside, I'd rather personally not cover if it's really windy, because I do have problems with the rub marks, but I always cover my air conditioner. But as far as the roof's concerned, there's really not a lot you have to do. Make sure it's sealed. Make sure it's no holes and things like this for the winter time. Make sure your slides are in. If you can't put your slide outs in, it's nice to be able to keep some of the snow off those slides sometimes, because it will really pile up on those slides. And besides that, there's not a whole lot of maintenance that you have to do on your roof.